Hello, guys. I am Shane Davis, 20-year comic book veteran. I am here with Yanzi Lin, and today is the day we are talking about the American comic book industry once again, as we so do here on this channel. I do hope you hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, as we do like to go through pop culture, but we do circle around comics quite a bit. And this tweet kind of got around a little bit. This is from Heidi Mcdonald. Now, she is the owner and a lot of times writer on the beat. She had been a editor at DC Comics back in the day. So anyways, Heidi Mcdonald here wanted to quote Dan Didio. Now, this is from a Diamond Summit. Now, you're going to go, well, what's Diamond? Well, I'll tell you who wasn't there. DC Comics probably wasn't at the Diamond Summit, and neither was Marvel Comics, because they've all left Diamond pretty much for Penguin or other distributors. DC's got their deals going and cooking. But, well, interesting enough, guess who still shows up? And that is Dan Didio, who used to be the publisher, editor-in-chief at one time, co-publisher of DC Comics. Interesting enough, Dan says something here, and I worked with Dan a lot at DC Comics, and one of the fears he had mentioned before is coming off a panel, I don't know if it was a Wizard World or something like that, so this gives you a sense of what era I'm talking about. He was like, hey, I want you to go to Superman Earth 1. We need something new, something fresh, you know, for new readers. He's like, I get off these panels and all I see is somebody raising their hand wanting to know when is the next essential collection of this or DC Essentials, which are old reprint comics. And he's like, that worries me. So there was always this concern, at least as far as I know from my time in dealing with Dan, that we need new readers coming in as old readers age out. Now, that didn't mean going for diversity pushes or SJWs or representation. That really didn't. They were just really trying to figure out a way to keep people interested in Superman for the most part, or keep people going in on Flash or something like that. Some of these characters, they're household name characters, but they're not as present in pop culture at the time. Now, this is an interesting thing, and it's probably taken out of context, but she goes, we've lost, this is quoting Dan, we've lost a generation of readers, says Didio. They didn't buy superhero books. They went elsewhere. Now, of course, what do you think they're talking about? Where'd they go, Yanzi?
I'm sorry, but I thought this is something everybody knows. They all went to manga. The new generation of readers are going from Dogman straight away into books like My Hero Academia, One Punch Man, all these other titles that somehow just look infinitely more appealing than American superhero comics, even though they are printed in black and white.
Right. Now, there's always been this I don't know what you would call it, like people assume that you couldn't, for the longest time in American comics, since the black and white boom, which was like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle era, that black and white comics don't sell. And I would go, well, Walking Dead sells. And they're like, yeah, you can't count that. It's like, look, I don't know if color comics are necessary, but there was always this idea that the color was very vibrant. It appealed to youth. But here's the thing, comics not really selling to youth, not really written for youth. So why is it in color? But anyways, that's a tangent here in a way, because or it's not. Dan is working for Frank Miller Presents, which are actually making a lot of black and white comics. You see where
isn't he best well known for the Sin City stuff that's black and white predominantly?
Right.
Okay.
And so Heidi's like, oh my, she wouldn't have tweeted this if there wasn't something to what he said. And arguably, Dan's talking about when he was on Watch at DC Comics. There's only so much you can do as a publisher when you're being pressured and sworn by people at cons, like what about Stephanie Brown, about representation of female characters, gay characters, Batwoman. When people are like saying, why didn't we get a wedding with Batwoman? And it was like, there's only so much you can do because you're trying to cater to the crowd in a way. You want to keep your position. Now, this is the lie. Now, somebody, Gabe El Taib, is going to quote that basically you guys kill comics, you know?
Yeah. So Gabe here says you ruined the quality and thereby the sales of this medium. And Heidi replies with the well-known lie that the mainstream likes to sprout. Sales of the medium are better than ever. $2 billion. More kids reading comics than ever. All areas booming, but you do you. All right, okay. So before we go anywhere, I want to point out Heidi Mcdonald, EIC of comicsbeat.com. All right, so Heidi, let's go to a website that you work on and quote your own stuff back to you. Look at that. Comics and graphic novels sold. The percentage volume sold last year. So from 21 to 22 January. All right. Oh, manga eats 3/4 of the pie.
It looks like Pac-Man eating a slice of pizza. That's basically what it looks like. That big blue shape you see there with its mouth taking a bite of delicious pizza, that is manga. That is
So
manga
here's the
eating.
scary thing. What is the tiny little orange slice? Superhero, i.e. DC and Marvel Comics.
Right.
So you're
And
telling me that the percentage sold, what is dominating that $2 billion sales? So $1.5 billion of it, actually more than that, is actually manga?
And what we're talking about, this is the lie, is we're presenting it to you. There is this thing where used to the American comic industry didn't count manga as sales. Manga has predominantly sold ever since like Tokyo Pop in America, like in major bookstores, which would take it back to like in the 2000s, early 2000s. The interesting part is when we're like selling the least, the mainstream shill media, their job is to go take credit and cobble together and make a nice comfort blanket, even if it's somebody else's achievements, even if it's a import from another country. Well, like we have to save face. My issue with this is this tweet was you have Dan and then you have her and then somebody from a group that Heidi maybe doesn't like because she's part of a whisper network or whatever, hypothetically or supposedly, she then has to pivot back. Oh, we're doing better than ever. The reality is you should be completely honest. Yeah, things are effed up. And the reason why, imagine if you think you have a leaky pipe, but you're like, no, it's fine. It's just sweating. It's frying. The pipe's not dripping. And you don't fix that broken pipe and you just let it go and you're in denial that there's a broken pipe under your sink. Eventually you're replacing your floor. Why? Because you never address the problem. The problem only gets worse and worse. The reality that the American comic book industry isn't taking note that every effort that they're putting forward, every foot they're putting forward is actually driving the direct market, the mainstream superhero content down further and further to the point we're even seeing Marvel in their phase 4, the source material they're pulling from, nobody likes and
Yeah,
nobody's
what is
looking forward to.
Eternals again?
Yeah, basically somebody needs to address the problem. That way you can actually course correct. Instead, this is just going to plow forward and basically take every character you love, every character that means something to you, it's going to take it down the drain with it. That's the big consequence here is the big denial. And really this boils down to like I gotcha or pride or ego or just flat out they don't want to take blame for killing beloved characters, because at the end of the day there will be a time when the articles will read DC Comics closing doors, outsourcing publishing, sell so low, and it'll probably be around the same time that the superhero movie genre hits about rock bottom. And at that point in time, people are going to be able to scroll back through the internet and find things like these articles that are a bread trail of crumbs that lead to like one bad decision after another that would only harm these characters and IPs that people have put 80, 100 years of readership into, of fandom, all for what? Like ego. And I've said this before, there's people who can create, and then there's people who can't create. They know they can't create. They know their writing's not good, their artwork's not good, but there is something more powerful than creating you can do, and that is destroy. And we're at a point where a lot of people are, I think, actively destroying this industry and what's left of it. And I don't see an effort to really pull these numbers up. I don't see an effort to, rejuvenate like a fan base to go back into the direct market.
Well, I'm looking at this sales chart over here that says the units sold percentage change, right? So manga went up a whopping 171%. Comics and graphic novels, all other genres besides superhero, went up 21.9%. And comics and graphic novels only went up a miserable 2.3%. So here's my prediction. Because they can't even really grow superheroes anymore. I mean, okay, wait, how did they even grow it at 2.3% at this point? I'm trying to understand. Like, I thought it's falling actually.
No, that's simple. All Marvel and DC have to do, because this is not direct sales to customers, it's direct sales to retailers. The retailers, the only comic money they can make is through qualifying variant covers. That's when they have to order 50 comics to get one comic that they then can sell for hundreds of dollars.
All right, wait.
So
So
that forces them to up their sales, which would look like an artificial growth.
So you're telling me that what is happening over here is that they're counting all the books that retailers are left settled with that don't even make it into the hands of the readers?
Absolutely. There's no way you would have to go to every comic shop and because these aren't returnable. So there's no
Right.
reason to
But
count
see,
like
you have things like manga and comics that are in other genres, presumably, under Image and all that stuff. Those are returnable, right? So those are
um
generally counted. So we have double artificial inflation with superheroes, basically. So they force the variant sales and it's not returnable.
right. And that's the thing. And
So
believe it or
tell me
not, like,
again, how did we make $2 billion? Oh, right, because of this thing called manga, right?
right, which then we take credit for. And in all of this, everything that we just said seems super convoluted and complicated, but that's how they want retailers. They want retailers very confused on how to order and chasing after a carrot of a variant cover and hope it shows up in mint condition. We can look what's actually selling and what's not. Here
So
we
let's
go.
look at ICB2's superhero graphic novel sales. The top selling one is an Alex Ross book, which is not surprising. I mean, it's Alex Ross. Hello, Fantastic Four, Alex
Hmm,
Ross. But not even 10,000 copies. Meanwhile, you look at manga, top of the sales chart is all the way like, wow, 33,000 copies, almost 34,000 copies. You have to go to like position number 17 to even go below 10,000 units. So
right.
it's like, okay, who is eating whose lunch again? Like, seriously, are we? Look, once you even go past book number 3, you don't even sell more than 5,000 copies of a book. Like, wow.
Right, and some of these books, like Sandman, have, Netflix adaptations that are driving these sales that normally wouldn't be there. So you're talking about probably like one of the biggest advertisements for Sandman that's ever happened in the history of Sandman is right now, and it's up there. This is an evergreen proven classic that probably a lot of people are finding out for the first time. Well reviewed, loved, adored. I'm just saying this. It takes Netflix to move this thing up. I mean, now granted, it's an old book and it's had its time, but I feel weird counting Sandman among this because it's like normal circumstances, it would not be there and those numbers wouldn't be there. We would probably just, it would be like Batman 89 hardcover at 5,000, and then we would probably
So,
have Harley Quinn at 2,000.
so what you're telling me is that based on the numbers over here, the superhero comic book industry is not just propped up by poor sales, they're propped up by poor
Well,
sales of old material.
no. Number 2 and number 4 and even number 6, those things are propped up by Netflix, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
Like
so
normally they
it's
wouldn't
not
even
even
be.
the material themselves.
Yeah, the
Oh
normally
boy.
those wouldn't even be on this chart right now. So that's how bad this chart is comparatively to manga. Now you could argue manga is propped up by media too, but they're doing a hell of a lot better. Chainsaw Man, fairly new,
Yeah, the
word
anime
of
just
mouth.
came out actually, so you can't really say, oh, it's boosted by media. Really, it's a
No,
lot of people reading the source material.
it's hyped. It's hyped, and
Oh,
people are
hype.
talking about it. And that's one thing that the American comic book industry right now is failing at, and that is hype. But anyways, what is hype is Inglorious Rex 2 has crossed over 1,000 backers in less than 24 hours. We did cross over 6 figures on our third Indiegogo campaign in record time. We're talking about like I don't know, it was I don't know, like it was 12 hours maybe. 12
Mhm.
hours, over 100K. Guys, the link is right down below. Please go check it out. I'll leave you guys with the trailer for Inglorious Rex 2 funding right now. You can pick up volume number 1 if you did miss volume number 2. Hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will catch you guys again with another video.
Stepped on the scene, I got greatness all in my jeans. Ain't no way that I can slow down. I'm laced up, look how I shake the ground. Can't touch the ground, but you can kiss the ring. Close your eyes and see how I live a dream. I'm too smooth, MJ with the lean. Don't be fooled, I came through with the team. This is over their heads, how high can it go? I'm too over the edge, got my eyes on the goal. And we right back at it, keep them right on their toes. Look at the way that I move, this is all that I know. Cause I got the drive, I put it in gear. Line them up, I don't see no competitors here. If it ain't first place, we really can't settle for it. Listen up, get ready for it.